Hi, welcome back to Psychic Grandma's channel. It's good to be here with all of you today. I hope you're having a great Tuesday. And I promise this video will be a lot shorter than the last two. So this is part 3 of my paranormal activity on our family vacation from Texas to Florida, Orlando. So as I was saying, we're in Alabama, and we rented this house, and we had some paranormal activity in this house. So where I left off, if you haven't watched the 2 last videos, please check them out first so you'll know the whole story. And I know some people, don't believe in paranormal activity, and then other people are so scared they don't even want to listen to it or talk about it or whatever. Personally, I find it very fascinating, but that's not everybody, and I totally get it. So if this isn't a video for you, I totally understand. But anyways, so I just wanted to say, let's finish up this part 3, sorry. This will be the end of the story. So anyways, where I left off. So we're all in the hallway, and my daughter-in-law just went into their bedroom to tell my son what was happening. So he comes right out. And he asked, he says, what's been going on, So we told him everything. And when I got to the part where I was telling, he was shocked, like, holy shoot, But when I got to the part, I was explaining to him about the part when I was, feeling the energy in my bedroom, and I kept hearing that clunking sound, and then it sounded like furniture sliding. He says, oh my God, Ma, I heard that. I'm like, you did? And he goes, yeah, I heard that sound too. And I was laying there trying to figure out what the sound is, and then it dawned on me, when I heard like the furniture sliding, it reminded me of when we stayed with your friend, meaning my friend, back in Massachusetts, because her house was haunted, because we would hear when we're home at night, or early evening, we would hear furniture sliding upstairs. And if you're upstairs, you would hear it, and it would sound like it's coming from the attic, like furniture was sliding across the floor. But then if you're downstairs on the first level, it sounded like it was upstairs where the bedrooms were. And one time my sons were there by themselves. I went to the store or something like that. And they got so freaking scared because they heard that. They heard the furniture slide. So anyways, my son said, that's what it reminded me of, And he says, I thought, at first when I heard it, I thought it was the neighbors here next to the house. He goes, because I figured the neighbors are pretty close. And I'm like, no, Jamie. We don't have neighbors, they're too far away. I noticed that when we pulled up, when we first got here, that, the houses weren't close, they were really far away. And he says, oh my God, so he experienced that same sound that I was experiencing. Then he was saying too, he says, I was in the bedroom, and I was going through I was starting to where I wasn't feeling good at all. I felt sick. And then I had all these negative thoughts that was coming through my head, and I'm like, oh, why am I thinking this way, And it was like kind of driving him crazy, and he just felt really, like down and everything. So he was waiting for his wife, my daughter-in-law, to get out of the shower and come back in so he could talk to her about it. And so he said that, and I said, yeah, I saw Amy leave the bathroom, when she took the shower. And then I went into my bedroom. He goes, well, yeah. And then when Amy came in, you know, I was telling her how I'm not feeling good. I'm having all these negative thoughts that's going through my mind. And so it took her a while, but she calmed him down, you know, because he was so upset over it. So then he finally fell asleep. And so then he had a really bad nightmare. Um, and when he was explaining this nightmare, I have to tell you, it really shook him up. And I don't blame him. If I had it, I would be shooken up too. But he says, and remember earlier we were talking about some girl, right? Everybody kind of experienced, you know, Bo and my grandson talked about a girl. So anyway, so then he started explaining the nightmare to us, and he said he was outside and the sky was really pretty. The grass and the trees were like, everything was kind of intense, like the colors of green on the grass and the trees and stuff. They were really beautiful, you know. And he said that he had a camera with him, and he kept having this urge to take pictures. And that's not my son in real life. He don't have anything to do with like taking pictures or knowing how to run a camera. He's more in, he actually works in the music field, making music. But anyway, so so then he said, so suddenly then the dream was that he saw this car, and he went over to it, and he kind of like dusted off the window. I don't know what was on it, you know, if it was dirt or dust or whatever, but he kind of wiped off the window, and then he looked in like this. And when he did, he saw a girl in the back seat, and he said her face looked really sunk in, like she was really thin. And then the next second, you know, in the dream, he you know, stood up, and then he looked, and he's looking down this road, and then he sees that same girl standing in the middle of the road looking at him. And so he's looking at her and knowing, like, you know, her face is all sunk in, and he knew like something was wrong. Like he felt like she was dead, you know, because she looked really raggedy. She looked like she's been through a lot. And like I said, he said her face was all sunk in. And then suddenly, boom, the face came right up into his face. And, you know, and it scared him. And he says, I'll never, ever forget that face. Never. You know, and that really scared the heck out of him. So I'm like, wow, oh my God. I told him, I said, yeah, just before I fell asleep, I said, you know, I hope I don't have a nightmare, because I know, like, if people are in a home and there's a negative energy, normally they will attack and give somebody like nightmares. So I'm like, God, I hope I don't have a nightmare, you know, because I was pretty tired. But I didn't. And it's kind of weird that, you know, Bo did have a nightmare, and then Jamie had a nightmare. So that really, to me, that validated it for sure. There was definitely a negative energy in there. So I found the whole thing really fascinating, because then we're talking about like the time, you know, of how everybody, what time it was when everybody was experiencing all this stuff, and everybody agreed. Like one person will say that, and they'll say, yeah, it was around 9:30, or, you know what I mean? Like everybody was going through something around the same time. It's so weird. I could see, like, if somebody went through something at 9:30, say, and then somebody else at, you know, 12:30, and then somebody else at 3:30, or, you know, but it all kind of matched up every time when somebody was experiencing something. Somebody else was experiencing something different in their rooms. So that's the part that I found kind of cool. But anyway, so it was pretty scary for everybody there. So we all, yeah, oh, and then we all laughed at Amy because she kept saying she slept like a baby. I think that kind of irritated my son too. But we were all not surprised because of the way how Amy is, that she would be the one who would have a good night's sleep and nothing bothered her at all. Um, but anyways, I don't think anybody's gonna ever forget that experience. And then I said to my son too, I said, too bad we can't do research on this home to find out if there's any history or something, you know? And he goes, yeah, I wonder. And so anyways, then we started packing up and we got all our stuff out. And, oh, I forgot to tell you this. Sorry, allergies. Jeez, I hate this. So Jamie says to me, he says, Ma, I wish you would have woke me up when all this was going on with you and Bowie. I said, Jimmy, I didn't want to do that. You know, you drove all them hours. You were tired. And then plus, to be really honest, I knew if I told you, you would pack us all up, you know, at 10 o'clock at night or whatever it was, and make us all get into the truck and start driving. And I didn't want to go through that. And Amy spoke up and said, yeah, I'm glad you didn't do that. And he goes, yeah, well, I would have done that. I said, I know you would have. So anyways, I'm really glad I didn't, because it would have been harder on him and everybody. You know, last thing we needed is to be on the road. I really didn't think anybody was going to die from this situation or anything like that, but because, you know, I knew we were going to be leaving early in the morning. It's not like we're going to be there for another day or another week, because who knows, it could have got worse. Since the activity, like, was right there, right away, like my grandson picked it up so right away the minute we got there. Sometimes it takes longer for activity to, you know, act up, not that quick sometimes. So who knows, you know, what the activity would have been if we stayed one more night. So I'm glad we didn't do that. So anyway, so we packed up the truck, and we started driving and everything like this. And so we stopped at Buc-ee's. I don't know if you ever heard of Buc-ee's, but it's very popular here in Texas and like Georgia, Tennessee, and Alabama and stuff, and maybe some other places. But I'm hoping it will move, you know, they'll open up a store back in Massachusetts, because I'm from Massachusetts, so all my family's out there, and they could enjoy it because it's a great store. I love it. But so we stop at Buc-ee's to get gas and then go in and get something to eat for breakfast and stuff. And meanwhile, now like I told you, we have a lot of stuff in the back of the Dodge pickup truck. So my son would always stay in the truck whenever we went in somewhere to go to the bathroom, get something to drink or eat or something. And then I would come back, or somebody else would come back, and then he would go in to make sure nobody took our stuff from the back. So while we were all in Buc-ee's, he started doing research, right? And so I get back to the truck first, and he says, Ma, you're not going to believe this. I'm like, what? He says, I started doing research, but I didn't do it on the house. I did it on a missing girl in Alabama, if there's any missing girls. I'm like, really? What did you get? He says, well, actually what I started to do is just look at what they look like before I got into all the information about them. And he says, I found a girl that looks just like her. I can't believe how much she looks like her. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, the only difference is she has more weight on her. Her face ain't all sunk in and everything. And I'm like, wow, that's strange. And so he showed me the picture of this girl, and I'm like, oh man, that's sad, you know? And then he goes, yeah, well, listen to this. And I'm like, what? Well, she was missing in February of 2023. I'm like, wow. And then he goes, and she was missing like a mile and a half or so away from where we were renting that house. And I'm like, no freaking way, right? That really, like, wow, what's the coincidence, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, wow. He goes, well, I got something else. I'm like, no way, what? And he says, remember I told you in my dream that I had a camera and I felt like taking pictures and stuff like that? I'm like, yeah. He said, guess what was the last street that she was seen on, I guess? And I'm like, what? He said, Cameron. And I'm like, wow, that's really close to camera. You know, like that could have been her way of, trying to let him know. Or on the other hand, maybe we're just, you know, stretching it. I don't know. But it's kind of weird. It could have been Keene Street or Middle Street or, whatever, but Cameron, almost like camera. So that kind of, I was like floored about that. And yeah, it's sad about this young girl. And as of now, I don't believe anybody found her. I don't know if this is the same girl that everybody saw or dreamed about or whatever. Wow, you know what? I just thought of something. I wonder if he showed the picture to my grandson, if he would recognize her. I don't know how much he could, when he saw the girl standing behind him. I don't know, but I don't know if that's a good idea because he's only 9. Anyways, but yeah, I just want to say to everybody who has a missing child out there, my heart goes out to you. My heart felt so heavy for this young girl, if she is the one or if she's not. Once you see the picture of somebody, it's more like reality hits you in the face. Yeah, and then my family too, they were like, because we pick on each other, and they said, Grandma, you should feel bad because you didn't help. If this was the girl and she was trying to reach out, you didn't help her go to the white light, because sometimes I'll do that. I'll go to somebody's house and I'll help a spirit go to the white light to help them find their way. And but I said, and I thought of that actually before, when I was in the house, I thought of that, like, oh my God, this girl might need help, but I didn't bring everything with me. I didn't bring anything. I only brought that meter that I told you. Normally I bring everything, but I didn't expect. One time that I didn't bring it, we experienced something. There was so many times we went away, I brought everything, and it's a pain lugging everything, because I got my clothes and everything. And I'm like, I won't need it. You know what I mean? And then one time, then we went through this experience. But I did feel guilty, I felt bad about it. But like I said, I did, and I told them, sorry about that, move my camera. I told them, I do feel bad, but I didn't have everything with me. I didn't have my sage and other stuff that I used to protect me. And then on top of it too, even if I did, I don't know if I would have, because I had my grandson with me, I had my family with me, and that negative energy that's in the house, you have to be really careful, One, you got to protect yourself, even if it's not a negative energy, because you open up that door and anything could slide through, I mean? You could pick up negative, some kind of negative energy and a negative spirit. It's like when I do my readings, I always sage my room, I say prayers, I really protect myself and stuff, and I do things. And every medium or psychic should do that. You always got to know how to protect yourself. So with my family being there and everything, I don't know if I would have took that chance. But I guess we'll never find out. But yeah, because sometimes when you try to help, when you have two energies like that and you're trying to help the good energy, the bad energy will get even madder at you. You know what I mean? Even if you don't have good and bad and you just have the bad, well, they don't like you trying to, mess with them. They can get a lot worse, and I don't think I would have liked that. I because of my family being there, I wouldn't want to put them in danger. I mean, because I had stuff happen to me, and you got to be really careful. I mean, maybe I could have, had them all, go out into the truck, but it would have took a while. It don't, you can't just do it in 3 seconds or 3 minutes. You know what I mean? It would take a while, and I think they would have been, you know, irritated sitting in the truck that long. So I don't think that was a cool idea, anyways. But they like teasing me. But I do feel bad for that girl. I do hope she finds peace, and I hope they do find her alive. And if not, I hope they find her body, and then she can more or less rest in peace. So some have issues with that. Some spirits have issues with that if somebody don't find the body, and then other times they don't. They accept what happened, and they move on. But yeah. So, anyways, that was our story. Or I shouldn't say story because it really did happen, our experience with the paranormal activity on our vacation there. So like I said in the earlier videos, if you ever experience something or you think something's going on, please leave it in the comment area. I would love to hear it, and I'm sure other people would like to hear it too. And like I said, I totally get it if somebody don't really, like to talk about all this stuff. Anyways, I gotta close it up because it is going longer than what I planned. Oh, sorry. I love you guys though, okay? So please have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you're located or whenever you get to watch this video. And I hope you enjoyed this story about the paranormal activity that we happened to went through. And I'll talk to you all really soon, and God bless you all. Please stay safe, and please pass that white light forward. Bye-bye. Talk to you soon.